Hello, student.
Sound was okay?
Yes,
No sound?
yes, ma'am.
Now?
So we are going to
Sound was okay now? It's still not coming. Just a second.
hello, students.
Now?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. I'm okay.
Okay, okay.
In this video, we are going to discuss structures. So we are going to see how actually we can pass a structure as a function argument to some another function. So first, let's see the definition of practical 10.1. So the definition of program 10.1 goes like this. Write a C program to create a structure of book detail and display the details of book in appropriate format by passing structure as function arguments. Okay, so we are going to straight away see the solution of it. So here we want to display the book details. So what can be the members of the book? So it can be the title of the book, it can be the author of the book, and it can be the price of the book. Right. So we have taken here three data members, that is title, author, and price. Title and author are of course the character arrays. So we will take it in the form of a string. So it will be a array of characters, and price is the price of the book. So price generally we usually denote price in float, right? And then we have declared one B1 as a variable of the structure. So as you are aware that either you can declare the variable of a structure directly along with the structure definition. So here struct, then this is the book. So this is the name of the structure. It is also known as the tag name. So this is struct book. This entire structure is known as structure definition. So here we are creating a user defined data type called structure. We are first defining the structure, and then along with the definition of the structure, we are declaring the variable of the structure, that is B1, right? So you can declare the variable of any structure either in two ways. Either you can declare the variable of a structure along with structure definition, or you can write down inside main. I can write down something like this: struct book B1, right? So either you can declare the variable like this. Either you can write down struct book B1, or you can write down B1 straight away here along with the structure definition, right? Now, the first thing which we
Ma'am,
are going to do
I'm
is
not
we are
getting
going to
any
enter
audio.
the title or
सबको नहीं आ रहा ऑडियो?
आ रहा है मैम।
हाँ
हाँ,
मेरे को तो आ रहा है।
सबका क्लियर। आप लोग देखो साथ से, आपका साउंड देखो म्यूट है क्या कुछ एक साइड अपने वॉल्यूम देख लो एक बार, क्योंकि साउंड तो ओके मैंने चेक कर लिया है। ठीक है, मैं कंटिन्यू कर रही हूँ।
author and price of a single book. Now here one more important thing you should remember is when you are defining a structure, let's say if I'm not writing this B1 over here, right, and I'm just defining the structure. Whenever you are defining the structure, no memory space is occupied, right? There is no memory space which is occupied when you are defining a structure. So when the memory of the structure will be allocated only when you're creating a variable of a structure. Only when you're creating a variable of a structure, at that time you will be having some memory access. So here let's assume I'm writing struct book B1 over here. So I'm declaring one variable of type book. So how much memory space will be allocated for B1? So it will be 30 because it is a character array of characters. So it will be having total 30 characters, right? So 30 and each character occupies 1 byte. So there are total 30 characters. So it will be 30 bytes. Then author is also having 30 bytes. So 30 plus 30 is 60 and 60 plus 4 because float occupies 4 bytes, right? So 30 plus 30, 60, 60 plus 4, 64. So total 64 bytes will be allocated when you are declaring one variable of a structure, that is B1. So when you are writing struct book B1, 64 bytes of memory will be allocated. Right now, if I'm writing here B1 comma B2, right, then what will happen for B1? Because inside B1 we will be storing title, author, price. Inside B2 also you will be storing title, author, price, right? So for B1 64 bytes will be allocated, for B2 again 64 bytes will be allocated, right? So total memory allocation will be 128, right? So the total memory allocation will be 128, right? So in that way the memory is getting allocated in structure. Right, so either I can write down struct book B1, I can declare variable in two way. I can either write down struct book B1 or I can write down here B1. If I want to declare another variable, I can just write down comma B2 and so on. Right, so you can declare the structure variable along with structure definition, or you can declare the structure variable along with the struct keyword, the name of the book, the name of the structure, and then the variable name, right? Okay, now we are taking the enter the details of book one. So we are taking enter book title. So get as b1 dot title. So now each element of a structure, right? Each element of a structure you have to you can access each element or each data member of a structure by using the variable name dot the member name, right? So here dot operator is very important. First, whenever you are taking any input of any members of the structure, then it is very important that you write down b1 dot title, right? So b1 क्या है? b1 is the name of the variable, right? So जब हम लिखते हैं b1, तो that means we are entering details of book 1. Suppose if I'm writing here comma b2, and if I write down b2 dot title, that means what? I'm entering the information for book 2, book 2's title, right? So here when I'm writing get as b1 dot title, so b1 is the name of the variable, name of the structure variable, and title is the name of the data member, right? So in that way you will be entering all the values. So you have taken enter book title, then here we are writing f flush std in. So why we require f flush std in? So in any C program, there are basically three types of file. One file is std in, another file is std out, and another file and third file is std error, right? So the std in is basically considered as a buffer. So whatever values you are entering from the keyboard, it is first going to buffer, and then from the buffer it is getting saved in the computer memory, right? And that buffer size is very small, right? So whenever you are entering 64 bytes of data all together, you need to flush out the buffer. So that's why we are writing here f flush std in, right? So after every scanf or after every getS, in short, after every input statement, we will be writing f flush std in. Otherwise, you may get some errors during the compilation of the program, right? Then again, you are writing enter author name. So you are writing getS b1 dot author f flush std in, right? Again, you are writing enter book price, right? So here you can see the book price is in the form of, it will be in the form of scanf. So you're writing percentage f comma address of b1 dot price. Here in getS, you never write down address operator, as you are aware that whenever you are taking an input of a string, then you never write down the address operator. So here we have not written address operator, whereas here we have to write down the address operator. So we'll write down address of b1 dot price, and then again we are doing f flush std in, right? Then we are calling a function known as findBook, right? So when you are declaring a function in which you are passing an array as a in which you are passing a structure as a function argument. Here we are passing structure as a function argument, right? So obviously whenever you want to define a function, you need to first declare the function. So here we have declared the function. So we have written void, then findBook. FindBook is the name of the function, and here we are inside this function argument. As you are aware that variable names are optional in function declaration. Variable names are optional in function declaration. So we have just written the struct keyword and then the book, right? So we have written struct and book, right? That means what? We are passing one argument inside a function as a structure. We are passing a structure as a function argument over here, right? So here we are just calling this function findBook, and we are passing the variable of the structure which we have created, which is b1. Right now this b1 value will get passed to b2. So what we are doing, we are creating a copy of a structure, right? So we are creating a copy of a structure inside findBook. So it is passed by value, right? So b1 value will get passed to b2. So what will happen whenever you're passing b1 to b2 and you're writing here struct book b1, b2, sorry. So b1 is also of type struct book. So each member of b1 will be automatically copied to b2. So b1's title will be copied to b2's title. B1's author will be copied to b2's author. B1's price will be copied to b2 price, right? And then we are just displaying the information of the book. So that is printf book title, put s b2 dot title, again printf author name, so put s b2 dot author, again printf book price percentage f, and then we are writing b2 dot price. So we are just displaying the details of the book by using a function. So I hope this program is very clear to you. Thank you for watching this video.
Any doubt? Can I continue with the second? Any
Yes,
doubt?
ma'am.
Okay.
Hello students, in this video we are going to discuss practical 10.2, that is union. Right, so first let's understand the difference between union and structure. So as you are aware, a structure is a collection of elements of same data type. A structure is a collection of elements of different data type. Similarly, union is also a collection of elements of different data type. Then what is the difference between structure and union? So in structure, the keyword struct is used to define a structure, whereas in union, the keyword union is used to define a union, right? And when a variable is associated with a structure, the compiler allocates memory for each member of a structure, right? So the size of structure is either greater than or equal to the sum of size of its member. Whereas when a variable is associated with a union, the compiler allocates memory by considering the size of the largest member. So the size of union is equal to the size of the largest member, right? So what do you mean by that? So first let's understand through an example. Suppose I'm having suppose in your program it is given that create a union called library to hold the accession number, title of book, author name, price of the book, and flag indicating whether the book is issued or not. And write a program to enter the data of one book and display the data. Right, so here we are using union. Right, so in union, uh, what happens is the memory is not allocated for each and every member. Right, so the memory, whenever we are creating any variable of a union, let's say here we have written union library b1. So we have created one variable of a union. So whenever we are creating a single variable of a union, then at a time only the the data member who is having the largest memory size, only that much amount of memory will be allocated to union. So here let's see an example. Here the title is having total memory allocation of 30 bytes because it is a character array. One character occupies 1 byte. So it is char title of 30. So there are 30 characters. So it will occupy total 30 bytes. So title will occupy 30 bytes, author will occupy 20 bytes, float will occupy 4 bytes, and long integer will also occupy 4 bytes, and integer occupies 4 bytes, right? So here, see, so here what will happen? What is the largest memory, largest data member here? The largest data member, as you can see, is title, which is having 30 bytes of memory. So only 30 bytes of memory will be allocated to this union, right? Instead of union, here, let's say I'm writing struct, right? Instead of union, if I'm assume that I'm writing here struct, then what will happen? 30 plus 20, 50, 50 plus 4, 54, 54 plus 4 will be 58, 58 plus 4 will be 62. So total 62 bytes of memory will be allocated for union, for structure, sorry. Total 62 bytes of memory will be allocated for structure in, if I'm writing here struct library instead of union library. If I'm writing here struct library, then 62 bytes of memory will be allocated. But if I'm writing union library, right, then uh, uh, only the data member which is having the largest memory size, only that much amount of memory will be allocated, right? So here only 30 bytes of memory will be allocated and not 62. So union is more memory efficient as compared to structures, right? But in union we can, because only one, it occupies memory only for the largest data members, and when it will occupy the memory of the for the largest data member when a variable of that union is created, not during the definition of the union. So when you are defining a union, no memory is allocated. But when you are declaring a variable of a union, at that time only a memory will be allocated for union, and only 30 bytes of memory will be allocated for this union because 30 is the largest data member out of all the data members, right? Out of 30, 20, 4, 4, and 4, 30 is the largest. So only 30 bytes of memory will be allocated, right? So what happens in union? At a time, you can access only and only one member of any union, right? You can access only one data member of a union at a time. You cannot access all the members simultaneously, right? So here that is an example. Now, each member within a structure is assigned unique storage area of a location, whereas memory allocated is shared by individual members of union. Right? So here 30 bytes are shared between different data members. So at a time you can access only one data member, right? So now, uh, if you are having individual members can be accessed at a time, only one member can be accessed at a time. So here only one member can be accessed at a time. And if you are altering the value of any member, it will alter the other member values, right? Whereas here in structure, if you are altering the value of any member, it will not affect the members of other structure because each and every data member is having separate memory location. Whereas in union, the memory location is the largest, is the memory of the largest data type inside union, and that memory is shared among all the data members, right? And when you are doing compile time initialization, several members of a structure can be initialized at once. Whereas in union, when you are doing compile time initialization, only the first member of the union can be initialized. So that is the basic difference between structure and union, right? So now we will see an example. So here, see in this, So here in this member, here see what we are doing. We are writing union library b1, enter details of book 1. So enter the book title, so you will be writing b1 dot title. So you will be accessing the data members of union in the same manner as you are doing it in structure. So you are creating a variable of union, and then you are taking the input of the union, input of each and every data member using the variable name dot title, then again variable name dot author, right? So as I have already explained, after each and every getter statement, you will be writing f flush std in, right? So here let's write f flush std in after this title also, right? And here also. Okay, so now when you're doing like this, and now what I'm doing is here first I'm taking all the input. So I have taken the input of book title, then author name, then price, and then the accession number, right? And then I will enter whether enter flag 1 for if the book is issued, and the flag value 1 if the book is issued, and 0 if the book is not issued. Let's assume. So if I try to run this program, see if I try to run this program, what is happening? So enter the book title. So let's say I'm writing programming in C, and author name is Balaguru, and book price is, let's say, 345.56, and accession number is some 10-digit number. Accession number is a unique number given to each book in a library, right? So if I'm writing 78654399, right, and enter flag value, so 1 for book issued and 0 for book not issued. So let's assume I'm entering 0. Right, so here you can see book details are. So you can see book title is empty, author name is empty, book price is 0.00, accession number is the value 0, and here flag value is 0, right? So it is printing the message that book is not issued. So here you can see the only the last value book is equal to 0 because we entered the last value as 0. So only the last value was correct and rest of the values were not correct, right? Why? Because you cannot print all the details of the book together in union, right? Because at a time only one memory will be allocated, only one memory can have the value. तो जैसे ही आपने लिखा programming in C was in the memory, फिर उसके बाद हमने लिखा enter author name, so programming in C got replaced with Balaguru. Then you enter the price, so Balaguru got replaced with 345.56. Then 345.56 got replaced with 786544,399, और फिर लास्ट में जब आपने वैल्यू 0 लिखी, so that 0 value was replaced. So only the last value is correct, that is flag equal to 0 and book not issued. Rest of the values are erased from the memory, right? So now if you want to display the details of the book, all the books, then what you have to do, you have to first enter the book title, then you have to display the book title immediately, then you have to enter the author name, and then you have to display the author name immediately, and so on, right? So if we modify this program, then the program looks like this, right? Here we have taken one union, we have taken union library b1, right? And then we are entering the details of book 1, then enter book title, get as b1 dot title, right? Printf, again when you are taking the input of book title, at the same time you are displaying the details of book title. So book title is b1 dot title. Now we are entering enter author name. So at the same time, whenever you are entering the author name, at the same time you are printing the author name. So that in that way, what you're doing, you are effectively utilizing the union. You are also consuming less memory space inside computer memory, and you can at a time you can access, because in union it is a limitation that you can access only one data member at a time. So here what we will do, as soon as we are taking any input from the user, at the same time you will be displaying that input to the user, right? And then you will input the next value, again you will display it, again you will input the next value, again you will display it, right? So if I again run this code, right? So let's say here if I'm writing uh, the title of the book, so enter book title, so it is programming in C. Then enter author name, so author name is Balaguru, right? Balaguru Sami. So price, let's say 345.78, and then the accession number is 7645387, right? So book price is 7654379, right? And enter 1 for book issued, 0 for book not issued. So let's say if I'm entering 1, so book is issued and flag is equal to 1. So here you can see, as soon as I'm entering the title, I'm printing the title. When I'm entering the author name, I'm printing the author name. When I'm entering the book price, at the same time, I'm displaying the price. Again, when I'm writing the accession number, at the same time, I'm printing this accession number. Here, it should be not book price, but it should be accession number, right? And enter flag 1 for book issued and 0 for book not issued. So I'm writing 1, so book is issued and flag is equal to 1. So how this message book is issued is getting printed? First, let me do this. This is not the uh, book price, but it is the accession number, right? So it is the accession number. And now what I'm doing at the end, I'm entering the flag value. So if it is 1, if flag is equal to 1, book is issued, else book is not issued. So here I can just write down one condition, else if b1 dot flag is equal to 0, then book is not issued. Because here what will happen, if you are entering the flag value of 2 or 3 or 4, then also it will be showing that book is not issued, right? So if I run this program again, so let's say if I'm entering the value, title of the book, so it is programming in C. If I'm writing author name, it is Balaguru Sami. If I'm entering the book price, let's say 567.78. So that is the book price which is getting printed. Enter accession number. Let's say if I'm writing like this, so that accession number, because here I've written a very long number, so that is not in the range. That's why this is printing the wrong accession number. Let's say if I'm writing, so let's say if I'm writing here programming in C, then that will be printed Balaguru. So Bala will be printed. Here I'm writing 786, so that will be printed. Here I'm writing accession number, so that will be printed. If I'm writing here 1, so book is issued and flag is equal to 1 will be displayed. So I hope this concept is clear to you of union, right? So thank you for watching this video.
Okay, can I continue with the third?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Hello students, in this lab we are going to discuss the concept called a structure within a structure. So the definition of your practical list goes like this. It is 10.3. So write a C program for nested structure to display employee details such as age, name, address and salary. Right, so we have here created one structure which is struct employee, and here we have taken name, as a member of the structure, then designation, address, and age. And inside this outer structure, we are creating one more structure called the inner structure, which is having all the salary details, right? So we are writing struct salary, and in the bracket, inside this inner structure, we are writing float, basic salary, then durance allowance, house rent allowance, traveling allowance, and total salary, right? So these are the various attributes of any salary, right? uh, it is basic salary, durance allowance, house rent allowance, traveling allowance, and total salary. So now, here, as you can see, we have two structures. We have one outer structure, which is struct employee, and inside that structure, there is one more structure known as salary, which is a member of that structure, member of the outer structure employee, right? So we have structure within structure. We have structure within structure. So here you can see the structures are nested. Here you can see the structures are nested, right? So the outer structure, the name of the outer structure is employee, and the name of the inner structure is salary. So when you're writing struct salary, at the time of definition of the inner structure itself, we are declaring one variable, which is S, right? So this S is the variable of the inner structure, and this variable E, at the time of definition of struct employee itself, we are creating one more variable, which is E, and that E is the member of the outer structure, right? It is a variable of the outer structure, not the member, but the variable of the outer structure, right? So now, how to access the members? We have already seen how to access the members of the outer structure, but how to access the members of the inner structure, which we have defined, right? So let's say void main. So here, what we are supposed to do, we are just supposed to take one input. We are supposed to do the total of basic salary, daily salary, house rent allowance, traveling allowance, and we are just going to total it, and we are going to add it in total salary, right? So uh, here we have written void main, enter name. So get s e dot name. So here name is the member of the outer structure, so you can directly write down e dot name. Then again, after every input, after every getters or scanf function, we are going to use fflush std in. Then again, printf, enter age, scanf, percentage %d, address of e dot age, right? So here, because age is an integer, we have to use the address operator. So address of e dot age, then enter designation, e dot designation, right? Then enter address, e dot address. Now enter basic salary. So here you can see basic salary is a data member of the inner structure. So how would you access the basic salary? You will write down scanf, percentage f, and then comma, address of e dot s dot basic salary. So e means what? Outer members variable name, outer structures variable name, which is e, dot inner structures variable name, that is s, and then basic salary. So whenever you want to access the members, data members of the inner structure, you have to first take the variable of the outer structure dot the variable of the inner structure dot, and then the data member, right? So here you can see enter basic salary, so it will be address of e dot s dot basic salary. Again, if you're writing enter dearance allowance, then it will be writing, you will be writing address of e dot s dot dearance allowance. Then house rent allowance, so let's say address of e dot s dot house rent allowance. Then traveling allowance will be address of e dot s dot traveling allowance. And now what we are doing, we are totaling the basic salary, durance allowance, house rent allowance, and traveling allowance. We are totaling all these values, and we are saving it in the total salary, which is also a member of the inner structure salary. right? So we are writing E dot S dot total salary is equal to, and then we are adding up all the salaries. And then we are displaying the details. So details are, let's say name. So you can write down E dot name, designation is E dot designation, address is E dot address, and age is E dot age. So we are just displaying all the details. And finally, we are displaying the total salary, which is equal to percentage F. So it is E dot S dot total salary. Right, so let's run this program. So let's say enter name. So let's say I'm entering Mayuri. Age is 32. Designation is assistant professor. Right, and then address is, let's say, Nadiad. Basic salary, let's say I'm entering 22,000. Clearance allowances again 23,000. Let's assume, right? Then house rent allowances, let's say 500. Traveling allowances, let's say 2000, right? And if I am entering it here, you can see the name, assistant professor, address, and age, they are printed correctly. And if you total all these things, 22 plus 23 will be 45,000, and 45,000 plus 2 will be 47,000, and 47,500. So this is the total which is getting displayed, which is correct, right? So this is how you can use the concept of structure within structure. So I hope the concept of structure within structure is clear to you all. Thank you so much for watching this video.